Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week.
The money line. The money line, baby. Mike's excited to be here. He's jumping out the screen at you guys. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy Mike Finch. We're talking UFC 296. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, AJ. I'm good. I just got back from UFC Jim Rosemead, where I'm hustling all day. And AJ, do you know what I did yesterday?
I think I know, but you know, you can say it.
I got my purple belt in jiu-jitsu, man. That was awesome. Shout out to Jamie Fletcher. Shout out to Alfredo Yasso, Senor Jasso. Shout out to everybody at UFC Gym Huntington Beach. Appreciate it. They leveled me up in the gi. How about that? I'm just that much better at the pajama game now.
Listen, so you're the king of the pajama game now. Question is, we doing any gi tournaments next? You're going to take over the whole gi game?
That's an interesting question. We'll see, man. You know, I train at Art of Jiu-Jitsu in the mornings. I think I'll start doing gi now. I do think that makes sense. So if I'm at AOJ and I'm training gi all the time, we'll see. Maybe I'll throw the pajamas on. But I look at some of these gi guys, bro, their fingers are destroyed. Like
I've
they're
seen that through
fat, mangled.
Yeah, man. That's the one downfall, right? Is the gi, as much as it might, I don't know. I don't even want to say it protects you, though. It like slows the pace down a bit. But I feel like from my experience doing jiu-jitsu, I've been hurt only in the gi, not in the no gi, man. Fucking jam toe locked in somebody's pants, fucking fingers getting jammed on the gi, like you said. Whereas no gi is faster pace. I mean, maybe you're more likely to headbutt somebody, but I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Personally, I think the gi is a little more risky for the joints. But at the end of the day, I also think then the flip side of the equation is it'll appeal to people of like all ages more because of the potential of the gi grabs that can slow the game down. And then the beast wrestler athlete can be neutralized a bit by a guy that's very competent with the grips.
Yes. If you are an older jiu-jitsu player, that does actually check out. You could slow a younger athletic person down, and you could use techniques that just pretty much revolve the grip. Like as long as you could get a good grip on somebody's collar, you can make a lot of stuff happen. So yeah, that checks out. I mean, I hear that all the time, that no gi jiu-jitsu is a faster game than gi jiu-jitsu. When I interviewed Eddie Bravo a long time ago now, he told me, yeah, when you do the gi, just use no gi grips so you have one game. And then you actually roll gi and somebody's grabbing your gi and you're like, I'm trying to do your no gi grips. And you're like, Eddie, I'm not winning by doing this, you know? So you really do have to learn it. It's a totally different game.
Are you excited for the process of learning the gi grips and all?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, I've been so focused on no gi for the past 21 years that, you know, I've developed my game over and over again. I mean, my game has evolved so much in no gi. I have such a, you know, zoomed out. I kind of can see different systems in no gi. I could see an AOJ system. I've seen John Danaher's systems. I've seen Eddie Bravo's systems. And so my knowledge is pretty deep no gi, as to where in the gi, I mean, I've got so much to learn, man. You know, people like Keenan Cornelius will untie his gi and he'll wrap his lapel behind his opponent's leg and start grabbing it. I don't even know worm guard. I don't even know what he's doing, you know? So I really do just have a tremendous amount to learn. Of course, there's still more to learn no gi. You can never stop learning in jiu-jitsu, but in the gi, it truly is a new sport. So yeah, hell yeah. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you, my guy. Proud of you. Congratulations to the Finch. Listen, shout out to the people watching. I see people up in the chat dropping some barbs, man. Hopefully, listen, we got some congratulations for Finch. Of course, we got Covert throwing a fucking monkey wrench in you, Mike. You gotta get him out. I tell him on every live stream, Covert. If you're calling out Finch, go pull up to the gym. There's an open offer, man.
What is he saying? I'm pulling into the chat. I see space is fake.
Space is fake, yeah.
I see Tarzan saying, bruh, worm guard. Yeah, worm guard, dude.
I
Keenan
never heard of that.
Cornelius made his own shit. I like how Keenan Cornelius made American jiu-jitsu because it's true. It really is different from the original Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So respect to Keenan for that. Worm guard's a little crazy. It's better than Eddie Bravo's names. Eddie Bravo names shit like crackhead control. How am I supposed to teach a 5-year-old kid? Be like, yeah, put him in crackhead control. You know? So
Yeah.
I'll take worm guard any day. Oh, Daniel, 20 years and you're only a purple belt. Yes, this is a common misconception. So for those of you who don't do jujitsu like Daniel and you don't know, you don't get belted in nogi unless you're at 10th planet. There really is like just 10th planet does belts in nogi. I've literally never seen another gym that will belt you if you don't put the pajamas on. So I've done nogi for 21 years. I started wrestling when I was a little kid, and I've been training jiu-jitsu and competing in jiu-jitsu since I was like 10, 11. I think my first tournament was probably at 13, my first Naga tournament. So I've always spent time doing nogi. That's not like in a belt system. So nobody was like, dang, like if you show up to class today, you'll be one step closer. That was never it. I've always just liked competing. I've always liked training. I've always enjoyed training with MMA fighters specifically. So my jiu-jitsu game is made for MMA, and also I've experienced a lot of training for grappling tournaments, not for belts. So this purple belt was a surprise.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Congrats to you, Finch. Listen, last week we had an interesting UFC Vegas card, but Finch said it himself. It was the hardcores fight night card. At the end of the day, I have to discuss a couple of the matchups with you, Finch, just really the main few. One here was Song versus Gutierrez. What we learned about Song Yadong in the fight is he's willing to mix in wrestling and control a bit. I do feel like there was some moments for Chris Gutierrez. Now, obviously, the pick of Gutierrez for me aged horribly. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm willing to take it on the chin. I recognize that it was a fairly risky pick, but it's not like Song knocked him out on the feet and embarrassed him striking. Chris Gutierrez's kicks were working, but the issue with Chris Gutierrez, I think we really have to write down for the future, is he'll sell himself out of a fight due to looming, fear of maybe underperforming. He then kind of fumbles it all. Like if you look at the final round, he's rolling for an Inamari roll and giving himself bottom position when he needed to just be throwing heavy kicks and probably the hardest punches of his whole career. So I would say that Chris Gutierrez, I guess he can sell himself out of fights, especially in matchups that this one here, he was outmatched, but even in evenly matched fights, I worry about him going forward. If the going gets tough, he can sell himself out of it.
Yeah, look, I think he had Eddie Bravo in his corner, man. I don't know. Imanari roll. You remember the Tony Ferguson fight?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bust out the Hail Mary. The Imanari roll is like the Hail Mary pass. Unless you're Ryan Hall, that's probably not your A game when you start seeing the Imanari rolls working. But AJ, power to you, bro. You picked a dog. That was a sizable dog that you picked there. There's no shame in that. You stuck your neck out for the people.
Listen, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Fight before I want to discuss too, though, because this here, holy shit, Khalil Roundtree destroyed Anthony Smith, and he looked more powerful than we've ever seen. I think he's in an interesting position at 205. He went as far as to call out the champion, which, let's be honest, they're not going to give him Pereira next time. But I do feel like he's going to get an upper echelon fight with this win over Smith here. And Alexander Rakic, who's not officially booked for the Prohashka fight yet, is a possibility. Jan Blachowicz, when he comes back, is a really interesting fight. I feel like Khalil Roundtree is surging as a contender, and he's been fighting for a long time. I remember him on The Ultimate Fighter and then all the way up now to his game. I don't know, finding consistency really with this win streak that he's on now, 5 in a row.
I mean, that knockout, his hands look powerful. I think it was like a short uppercut, straight left hand. To make Anthony Smith do that, that's a very impressive knockout for him. We knew he had the power, though. So, yeah, I think that's what the light heavyweight division is. If you lay on the gas pedal, if you're ready to throw your hips behind shots, if you're ready to take some risks, it's wide open, man. With Alex Pereira on top, I mean, would Khalil Roundtree and Alex Pereira not be interesting? Would you not have fun watching it? He put himself right in the conversation.
I think that fight's really intriguing because the way that I look at it is Glory Kickboxing is 0-3 against Khalil Roundtree, regardless of how you feel about the Jacoby decision on paper.
I like this storyline.
Right? So it's like this is the former Glory champ. Roundtree gets his opportunity. He's done well so far. So I'm interested in the potential, but I don't think the UFC is jumping up like, yes, Roundtree, next title shot, just because it's available. I mean, crazy things happened, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
I want to see Vadim Nemkov versus Alex Pereira. That's what I want to see. Look, I think Khalil's probably got another fight. That's true. But it's cool that he put himself up there, man. You're going to make me pull up the top 10 and look at these matchups? I know AJ always puts the matchmaker hat on. You tell me what's next, AJ. At light heavyweight, who do we want to see Khalil Roundtree fight?
Well, so I'm going to depend it upon, when is the turnaround time. So I'm looking at this. The Nikita Krylov fight, I don't actually want to see because I fear that Krylov would get Roundtree down and control him for a lot of the fight. And yeah, that's a possibility. You can say, oh, but then he can't beat that guy. But there's fun matchups for Roundtree if we just give him a striker. I'm interested in the fight with Jan Blachowicz, but Jan recently pulled out of his fight against Rakic. So timelines are going to be the essence here. If Prochazka and Rakic doesn't come to fruition, I'd gladly watch Roundtree against either one of them. I want to see him versus striker. I know probably Krylov makes, technical on paper sense, but we know Krylov's not going to be challenging for a world title, whereas Roundtree is on a path where he could. I'm not saying he couldn't beat Krylov. Maybe he knocks him out, but the wrestling game of Krylov, I think, could give Roundtree a lot of trouble. So it's like a
Johnny
tricky
Walker.
matchup.
Johnny Walker's a fun fight too. That's an interesting one. So Alex Pereira on top. I just pointed that out because, like you said, Khalil Roundtree versus a striker. Come on, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'd like the Johnny Walker fight too. The biggest issue
out though, exactly. Jamal Hill out. Jan Blachowicz out. Let's get healthy light heavyweights. All right, we want some fights. Yuri Prochazka. These are fun. So I agree. Match him up against a striker because Magomed Ankalaev probably.
Finchman, is he lagging out on us or this is my end?
I would like to see him against any of these strikers though. And looking at the top 10, it's like all strikers. So yeah, give me some of these matchups and Khalil Roundtree should make some money, man. He's exciting. He's fun to watch.
Mike, you just lagged out a bit, just so you know.
Shit. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I could fix that. Let me know if it happens one more time.
Okay.
I'm going to do a quick fix. How Spectrum Internet, it's your fault. All right, Spectrum, we pay extra for high speed. So how dare you? I'm putting you guys on blast.
Funny, I got Spectrum too, man. And I noticed sometimes they drop a little bit. You know what I'm saying, Finch? Is Finch just staring into my soul or is he frozen right now?
I was for a second.
Go unplug that thing real quick. Listen, guys, I'll Q&A it up if Finchman is frozen here. You think Carlos Ulberg would fuck up Khalil Roundtree? I'd actually be really interested in that fight. If Ulberg destroys Dominic Reyes, that might be next. Nah, it's not pre-recorded. We're live right now, my guy. Shout out from Medellin, Colombia. Co-lock of the week is Shavkat versus Randy Parlay. Good shit, Nick Couture. Let's get it. Let's fucking get it, lad. Hey, listen, I'm right here, man. I see you, the Bob. Me and Finch were going back and forth, though. Hey, what's good, Bad Sticker Club? How you doing? How you doing? Nobody hates the chat, Covert. Relax, man. I was live yesterday for 2 hours, and you're telling me I hate chat? Stop. Finchman's back.
Jeez, they get so uptight, man.
Listen, they were mad, man. They said we weren't answering them. Like me and Finch are going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? They want to. They're mad. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, why you guys hating, man? Can we have a conversation over here? I think the chat is slightly different from the replay gang in the sense that I believe the replay gang wants to hear us go back and forth instead of reading your ridiculous statements. You guys are welcome to comment on point with what we're talking about, though, which was the fight. So, yeah, Roundtree moving up the ranks. AJ, do you want to talk about this card?
I do, but real quick, I want to bring in a news segment because this is a massive fight, and Mike Finch was the one who kind of announced
I
this
broke
thing.
it. I
Broke it.
made this fight, okay?
Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo at UFC 299. Guys, I'm going out on a whim. I think I'm going to do a reaction video to this tomorrow and get more, in detail about my opinions. But I think Merab is sending Cejudo to the retirement home.
Retirement home. Holy shit. My buddy Kevin told me that he doesn't think Henry Cejudo is going to win another fight in his career. Huh? Holy moly. These haters. Henry Cejudo is not even that old. We will pull it up because we need to. Henry Cejudo, the Olympic champion, is 36. All right. 36 is not over the hill. Now, I understand he's a lighter fighter, but I do think he's got a couple years, and he's going to give Merab a lot of trouble. Look, if Merab can't take him down, it'll be very interesting to see what happens on the feet here. A big question for me is it 3 or 5 rounds?
Let's fucking get a double check because honestly, that is a big factor. It's got to be 5, right? Special 5-round fight.
I think, so it's interesting because 5 rounds is something that Henry Cejudo is more accustomed to, but it seems like Merab is just a car. He's the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he could just shoot and shoot and shoot. So it might be better for Henry if they did 3.
So right now we have no official rounds. How much we know, we're going to assume it's 3 rounds, but there's definitely a possibility. It's on 298, not 299. I misspoke there. But if it is at 298, I think there's a chance of it being a special edition 5-round true number 1 contender type of fight. We got to bring up a dono real quick. Tiratu Paku. Hey guys, hope yous are well. Card this weekend. Shout out to my teammate, Moston, Fighting Pro Boxing in Melbourne on Thursday. Matrix MMA. Tiratu Paku. Thank you for the 5. And good luck to your boy, Moston. And hopefully he gets that W, man. We're rooting for him.
Shout out to Moston. Moston, the Moneyline wants to wish you all the best. And as Boss Rutan says, before people get into fights or as he's signing off, Godspeed. Godspeed, Moston. Let's go.
Godspeed, baby. Godspeed. I love this fight, though, between Cejudo and Merab. I'm excited as hell for it, but I'm telling you, I am on the side of your boy. I think that this matchup here is surging contender versus a former retired world champion who just gave Aljamain Sterling a really tough fight. But Aljo doesn't have that same oomph that Merab does with his pressure, with the way that he fights, with the pace that he could keep. I feel like Merab is going to end up taking it.
Merab is a cardio machine, so if this thing is 5 rounds, that'll be interesting. But brother, in a 3-round fight, there's a pathway for Henry Cejudo to outstrike him. Henry Cejudo, very explosive. Remember that Aljo decision was a split. He was down the hair with it. And I've talked to multiple people now who've trained with Merab, and so I feel I have a little bit more of a sense of him because damn, does he look so dominant when he's in there just absolutely spamming takedowns. Is that going to be the route against an Olympic gold medalist wrestler? We'll find out.
We'll find out. UFC 298. We got a banger fight announced, and you'll hear more from me about this matchup soon. Let's get into 296, though. We got a great card coming up this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time start. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We got the first fight on the card. It's Randy Brown versus Muslim Salikhov. I'm picking Randy Brown. He's got a big reach advantage, and I also think he's the faster guy. At this point, we've seen the level of Salikhov. He's a dangerous kickboxer that got into the UFC, I think, at a later point, 33 years of age, because of a later MMA start as well. Nasty kicks, and he can rip legs well, and you got to watch for his spins too. He's given up 8 inches in reach. Randy Brown is out there still sparring with boxers, and he does a lot of boxing. I think the hand speed advantage will be evident here. And Brown is also known for pretty decent jiu-jitsu. I got to pick him to get the win. I feel like we'll go to the cards. Decision for Brown.
Yeah, Brown coming off the win over Wellington Turman. I mean, that's what you want to see. And then Muslim Salikhov over the loss to Nicholas Dalby. Salikhov is not in his prime anymore. And so you're going to give me a Muslim Salikhov who's 39. You're going to give me a Randy Brown who's 33. That really makes a difference to me. I will take rude boy Randy Brown. Probably goes all rounds. I'll go decision.
Odds for the fight have Rude Boy Randy Brown at minus 245 with Muslim Salikhov at plus 210. Looking at Brown to win by a decision, just to read the prop off, plus 130. It's not great. And then over 1.5 rounds, minus 265. We're going Brown on the scorecards in this fight. He should get it done. He's a little bit of a large favorite, but he should win.
Yeah, interesting one as far as the betting goes because they are giving him a little bit of love, but I could see touching it in a parlay. We'll check on it.
We'll check on it soon. Hey, Covert, $2 dono from him. Tell Paku I'm going to sub him with a half Mexican necktie.
All right. See, I was saying I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 21 years. I have never heard of the half Mexican necktie. Now, there's a Peruvian necktie. My former coach, Pat Curran, Peruvian necktie to Peruvian. There's a Japanese necktie, but Covert, he might have invented something here.
I'm wondering what it is, man. I don't know. Is he using like a sombrero to strangle him? You know, a little street rules necktie?
Yeah, street rules, exactly. That would be not IBJJF compliant.
Yeah, that's street rules jitsu, man. Listen, this fight here, we're both going Brown on the same side. I'll be honest, Mike, I expected to agree in this one. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got Shamil Gaziev versus Martin Buday. How do I not go with the Bahrainian savage on the come up? Now, he is from the Dagestani bloodline. Don't get it twisted, but he trains out of Bahrain. And I feel like Gaziev is going to have a wrestling advantage over Buday, which is a factor. As far as the striking goes, Buday has good pressure Muay Thai, but I feel like his best game is built upon being able to bully opponents and back them up, where Gaziev is just as large as he is, and he's not a guy to bully. He's also got some speed and power in his boxing, and I definitely think he's going to have the better grappling skills too. I'm kind of seeing two big, fat heavyweights. Gaziev, the better athlete of the two, stronger potentially, getting on top of Buday. Buday unable to get up, and it's either ground and pound from mount or Buday getting submitted from, top.
You know, I try to give Buday some respect on the feet. I do. I think that he's always a bit dangerous there, but if he ends up on his back, it will probably be a death sentence against Gaziev. You know, if Gaziev gets one takedown, maybe he boxes a little bit to get Buday's respect. As soon as Buday's back hits the mat, I struggle trying to think that he's going to be able to stand up, And so if 2 takedowns is really all it takes for Gaziev, I have to think that he's going to be able to get this fight. Is it a finish or not? That's interesting because Gaziev could potentially take TKO him, could potentially get a submission while he's trying to stand up, catching the neck. That would make sense to me. I wouldn't bet on when this fight finishes, but I think a money line on Gaziev does make sense here.
Gaziev is sitting at plus 123 as a suspicious underdog this week, with Buday at minus 143, the favorite. Isn't that interesting that Gaziev is the dog here? I know he's making his debut.
You just blew my mind, bro. I had no idea, especially after the rear naked strangle he got on Dana White's Contender Series. I'm thinking he gets another rear naked strangle. If not, he could just grind him out. Yeah, this is kind of a nice matchup for him. Again, he has to be able to get a hold of him, drag him onto the ground. Once he gets to that top position, yeah, he's not going to need Merab level takedowns here. He's going to need 2.
Gaziev by sub is plus 900? That doesn't make sense to me.
These odds are crazy, AJ. Wow, you blew my mind with that. I definitely thought Gaziev would be the favorite.
Yeah, that's wild. Plus 900 by sub makes me want to touch the sub line. We have knockout at plus 275. I'd rather play the submission because I'm seeing it on the ground either way.
Yeah, I like the submission. I like a nice rear naked strangle. He just did it. Go do it again. And yeah, that's an interesting one. I think they're seeing the run that Martin Buday is on. I mean, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4-0 in the UFC, and that's not counting the Lorenzo Hood knockout on Dana White's Contender Series. So he is on a roll. I get that. You got a UFC newcomer. I mean, there's a lot of things that add up to Buday, but the way they match up, man, I think this is Buday's first UFC loss.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going Gaziev, as is Finch, and he's a good-sized underdog. And I like that sub prop at plus 900. When you're getting big plus like that in a method of victory, that makes sense to me. Yeah, I think it's
If you're feeling a little wild, if you got some money to lose, that might be interesting. You look at that sub prop.
Let's go. Next fight on the card, we got Andre Fili versus Lucas Almeida. I'm picking Andre Fili to win this fight here. Lucas Almeida was really badly dominated by Pat Sabatini on the ground last time out. And it's not that Andre Fili has this tremendous grappling game and he's so heavy from top, but he's definitely competent on the floor. He can mix in takedowns. I feel like striking-wise, we got a competitive matchup between the two. I'm going to take Fili to get it on the cards. I think there's good exchanges by both. I feel like the come in handy double leg is going to be there for Fili in this fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to it early and tries to get a feel of how much resistance he's going to be met by Lucas Almeida's grappling, which, yes, Pat Sabatini is like a little muscle tank and a real heavy stone of brick from the top position. But the way that he just so easily manhandled Almeida, it makes me wonder if Fili's going to find success using grappling, which he might not even have to sit in there and mix it up on the feet.
Everybody's been pretty heavy on Fili. I would just put a little bit of caution out there. Fili is very tough, AJ. I mean, some of these losses have definitely been wars. He did put up a good fight with Nathaniel Wood. That was good. But I mean, Bill Algeo in a split decision is the only win he's got since 2020. Lost to Bryce Mitchell, lost to Joe Anderson Brito, lost to Nathaniel Wood. I mean, how much are you betting on Fili? I mean, I'm a little cautious here. So this looks like more of a coin flip fight to me. Just since I just shit on Fili for the last minute, let's go with Lucas Almeida. But I don't know. These guys it's a good matchup. I like the toughness of Fili. Fili's such a vet at this point that he might stretch it out to a close decision. I could imagine this thing being a coin flip, man. I'll say Almeida, but really close, and one where Fili holds his own and probably wins the hearts of the fans, and Almeida edges him.
Minus 173 for Fili as the favorite, with plus 148 the underdog Lucas Almeida in the fight. It's not expected to go long, with the over 2.5 at plus 125. And
I like
Fili
that.
to win it on the scorecards is plus 225. I think it's probably going long.
Interesting. Well, it's because Lucas Almeida's fights all finish, Fili, on the other hand, I could imagine Fili's durability getting him to the end. So that's an interesting prop right there. It's probably because Lucas Almeida, never been to a decision?
Well, he went to distance with Zellhuber on Contender Series. They went the full distance, 3 rounds. Zellhuber is a good kickboxer, and it was a competitive scrap for sure.
Yeah, Lucas Almeida, 9 knockouts, 5 submissions, 1 submission loss, and then 1 decision. So quite the finisher. Good call on that 1 decision there. Yes. And yeah, interesting one. I don't know. I'm not betting on this one, my friend.
Fair. Fili for the win for me. Finchman on Almeida. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, we got Tagir Ulanbekov versus Cody Durden. We got a battle of USA wrestling versus the Dagestani wrestling.
You got to bill it like that.
But it is.
Come on. Yeah.
But it is. Listen, that's what it is. We knew that Ulanbekov at one point was considered the runt of the Dagestani litter. But nonetheless, I still think he's pretty good. He got a quick submission of Nate Maines. He's got a nasty guillotine. I look at Cody Durden, and I honestly am disappointed I'm picking against him. I'm going Ulanbekov, but I always like picking Durden because he's going to give it hell in the fights. He can pressure wrestle. He'll throw punches on the feet. He has fought as a boxer, but I definitely wouldn't say he's like a high-tier boxer. It's more striking to engage grappling and, competency on the feet. Ulanbekov, I'm not saying is a world beater standing up, but I do think, if you ask me, most likely finishing method of victory, I would have to assume Ulanbekov catches Cody Durden in a guillotine, and I'm going to predict that he does. I'm going to go Ulanbekov win by submission. Durden was caught at the end of the first round with Jake Hadley. He has been submitted by a guillotine before, and I think Ulanbekov has a pretty good one that's live to be used here.
Yeah, I gotta like Ulanbekov here, man. He's such a finisher too. His submissions are nasty, so that's why I don't like the USA. We're gonna put Cody Durden to rep USA Wrestling. I mean, Come on. How about Bo Nickel? Can we put Bo Nickel out there to rep USA Wrestling?
Him versus Ikram.
That's my representative. Bo Nickel can go represent, and you could put him against Hamzat, and there we go. So that's Chechnya. I like Tagir Ulanbekov here. I like his submission game better. I do think it pays off that he trains with guys who are stronger and better wrestlers than Cody Durden all the time. I think he sees Cody Durden's style all the time. Cody Durden does a good job being on offense with the wrestling, mixing it in and sort of blending it in a way that's hard to deal with. And I mean, who sees that more than Tagir Ulanbekov? So I think Tagir Ulanbekov's comfortable in this matchup, something he's used to. I think he'll get a guillotine finish.
Guillotine finish, same side as me, Finch. Ulanbekov is minus 170 as the favorite, with Durden a plus 145 dog. Ulanbekov by sub is plus 300. And I think he is pretty live to snatch a neck of Cody Durden's, man. I'm seeing that sub is very live.
Very, very live. And he's such a finisher, like I said. I mean, let's pull up his 8 submissions, 0 knockouts. Interesting. 6 decisions. Yeah, I do think he could snatch a neck up, even if he doesn't. I mean, could you imagine if he gets on top of Cody Durden? You know, the thing he can't do is just be the striker in this matchup. He does need to show off his grappling too. I like him more at range though, you know. But I can imagine Cody Durden trying to make this thing ugly, shooting and shooting again. That's why I picked guillotine. I think Cody Durden's going to shoot right into a trap. It's a trap, and he's going right into it. Ulanbekov sub.
AJ, do you follow the teachings of Jocko Willenick, a.k.a. the GOAT? Mike Finch, I brought this question up because I was like, does Finch man follow Jocko's teachings? Are you a Jocko guy?
Really turn all the things off. I'm back.
You're back.
Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
You know what?
Listen, what Finch is saying, I'll translate for you guys. He says, not a big Jocko guy. He said, no, he ain't it. We got Finch frozen, man. I think that there's an attack on the power grid in California right now. And that's the reason that Finch man's having difficulty staying stable with the line here. There's an attack, bro. There's an attack going on in the Wi-Fi over in Cali, bro. China's hitting you.
We're trying to. My wife's working on it now. This is good. I like Jocko. How about you?
Listen, I think Jocko's a cool guy, man. I didn't know if you were like into any of his, stuff like that. So I figured let me answer the question right there. I thought it was a decent one.
I'm not deep. I'm not. I've heard clips of Jocko talking, and he's cool. He's very masculine. He's very very military. You could tell, But no, I don't. I'm more of a like Andrew Huberman, Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, Peter Thiel. These are like when I type on YouTube. All right, I want to hear somebody talk for the next hour. It's not quite Jocko, but I respect you guys if you think he's the GOAT. Go ahead.
Let's go. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we got Alonzo Menifield versus Dustin Jacoby. I'm picking Dustin Jacoby to knock Menifield out. Menifield hits hard for sure. I do think he's a little bit wild on the feet, and Jacoby's a more seasoned kickboxer, previous glory fighter. It's interesting, right? Because Jacoby ended up losing the decision to Khalil Roundtree, and a lot of people felt he could have got that decision. Nonetheless, complete career shift of positions, right? Roundtree's a surging contender. Jacoby fighting in the back end of the top 15 now. And I see him on Twitter, though. He's still bitter about that decision. I saw him tweeting after the Khalil fight, no way Khalil beat me by a decision in our fight. I definitely should have won. But I'll ask him this. Does he have the same confidence against this new version of Khalil Roundtree? I don't know, man. I think Khalil's kind of turned the corner. I feel like Jacoby is still top 15 caliber, though. And he should beat Alonzo Menifield by knockout.
I see it. He's better. He's better than Alonzo Menifield. The glory kickboxing background, the nice knockout he got last time out. Yeah, I could definitely see him. Alonzo Menifield's just a fucking powerful dude. You can't be playing no games. I mean, it's definitely, there's a little roll of the dice. Anytime they close the cage and Alonzo Menifield's on the other side, you'll be sweating if you bet on Jacoby. but he's better. Why wouldn't he win? Yeah, let's pick Jacoby. Let's say he sticks to some more technical kickboxing, hopefully uses some kicks. Now's the time to bust out the calf kicks. Now's the time to teep to the body. Now's the time to mix up a well-rounded game where you're attacking all of the levels instead of just slanging and banging with Menifield. I think he understands that. I think he does it. I'll pick Jacoby.
Jacoby to win. He's a big favorite. Minus 270. Menifield plus 230 as the underdog. I like Jacoby's chances as minus 270, the favorite here. It's just he's a real big favorite. Knockout win for him is plus 185. You could see him getting a second round knockout. So what's knockout in the second round for him? Plus 675 for Jacoby. It's degenerate, but just an idea. At least it's plus, you know?
Don't go. I would caution against that. Although you guys got to do your own thing. So yeah, I think Jacoby's best thing here is to not hunt for a knockout. Best thing he could do is try to be quick, shoot straight to the target, be really technical. He should be able to dominate this fight because he's got so much striking experience. And Girthy Meats says he'll give me a parlay so I can upgrade my internet package. Listen, I pay extra for internet. Okay, that's how bad Spectrum is. Let them know.
Let them know. Leave them a review. And, that's it. You know,
we'll raid them like Guru raided us. Raid Spectrum. Go
raid
for
Spectrum.
it.
30 fucking comments on there. I have Spectrum too, and I definitely get a little irritated at times with just random internet drops. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, dude, is it 2023 or I'm in 2007?
Elon Musk, I'm going to buy Starlink, okay? I'm going to be like the soldiers in Ukraine. I'm hooking up to Starlink because I'm out of options.
Let's go. Let's go. Is Starlink like good Wi-Fi? I don't even know exactly what it is.
Yeah, Starlink's thousands of satellites where you can get internet anywhere. So like if you got Starlink on your phone, you could be in like the middle of Sequoia National Park and you still got full bars, you know?
Shit. How much is it?
Starlink is cool. You know, they haven't trained me to sales pitch Starlink yet, but I'm gonna look into it. I don't have it yet. I mean, I'm a fan for sure. Pretty much anything Elon puts out, I'm like, this is dope. You know, he hasn't really missed yet. Boring Company, awesome. Yeah. You know, awesome. Neuralink, pigs that can do like the monkeys moving a mouse with their mind, pretty insane. So you know, I'm on board with Starlink too. I'm switching.
I'm a big Elon Musk guy, man. I'm a big Elon Musk guy too. I'm hoping
shout out. There's the real GOAT. Shout out.
That's the GOAT. I want to get the Tesla Cybertruck. That'd be dope.
Bro, I've been telling people. I tell this girl, Jim, she goes, well, my dad says electric cars, blah, blah. I'm like, trust me. If I rolled up here in a Cybertruck, that would be the coolest thing in the parking lot.
That would. Let's go, man. Alonzo Menifield, I'm predicting he gets knocked out. Finch also on the side of Jacoby. We're riding with our guy. Let's keep running up this 296 fight card. We got Casey O'Neill versus Ariane Lipski. So I just feel like Casey O'Neill has not been superbly impressive. She's just fought decent opposition. Her last win was Roxanne Modafferi, who now is since retired. And then she lost a clear decision to Jennifer Maia in 2022. O'Neill also tore ACL. Ariane Lipski, I'll agree, she's been hot and cold throughout the UFC run, but she is on a 2-fight win streak, and she did beat Melissa Gatto last time out, who has good grappling skills. And Casey O'Neill, she has good top work for sure, but she's not this like explosive wrestler, and she's not like a super strong puncher with crazy speed on the feet or great footwork. I think Lipski's the better striker. My question is, can Lipski stop the takedown? When I watch O'Neill, I'm like, she's not that impressive of a wrestler. I feel like Lipski can stop the takedown. And then I'm looking at the stand-up, and Lipski's better. I'm picking Lipski for the upset in this fight.
Man, people on the Lipski train. Do you remember when she was having that little skid she was on?
Yeah.
People were completely off. Look, beating Melissa Gatto, I think, is good. You know, I watched MMA Guru's show, and he's like, yeah, bad opponents like Melissa Gatto. What? Melissa Gatto is pretty good. Melissa Gatto is decent. I mean, you know, she's at least run of the mill. Is that a bad fighter in this you know, in this women's flyweight division? I don't think so. So Yeah, Lipski's good. She was training at King's MMA over here. I've seen her, coming out of the gym before, and never got to watch her train, but she's definitely a very experienced striker. Previous striking experience in Brazil, trained under Master Rafael Cordeiro. You can imagine that she can out kickbox a Casey O'Neill. Casey O'Neill being at Extreme Couture, though, is interesting, right? I mean, what if she could put it together? I don't know. This is another one of those women's fights where I will say, enjoy it. Don't bet on it. I see a pathway for O'Neill, but it's so hard to pick her after that Maya loss. It really is. So, I'm having some trouble for sure. All right. This is a Dogecoin, okay? Yeah. There's O'Neill, right?
Yeah.
There's Lipski. You see the Doge?
Yep.
Look at the Doge. Yep. See the Doge? There he is. There he is. All right. Lipski's the D. Lipski. Go. Lipski it is.
Going underdog. Oh, shit. Finch and I both on Lipski. There's nothing more accurate than a coin flip when picking for women's fights. I'm telling you, it's about as good as you can get.
It's a sign, folks. Be careful.
It's a sign. TC just dropped the dono. $4.99. Thank you, TC. 100+ people in here. We should have 100+ likes. P.S. What the fuck is up, Denny's?
What's up, Denny's?
With Denny's? Denny's?
I don't know about if Denny's is in the chat. Speak now or forever hold your peace. The actual Denny's, bro. I went in Vegas. Awful. IHOP is so much better than Denny's. Oh, yeah. It is ridiculous. Okay. I like when they made the company NVIDIA. They said they were all eating out at a Denny's when they came up with that company. That's because they wanted to do anything but focus on that food. That food is horrific. I can't believe how bad Denny's is. Eat at IHOP, folks. If you don't know, now you know.
Denny's I had 3 times in my life. The first time I had it, I don't know if it was just the post-drunk, excitement of being at Denny's when I was like young too. I was like 18 at the time. The second and third time I had it, it couldn't have gotten worse. Like, I mean, the eggs were cold. It wasn't very good pancakes. They kind of taste like sponge-like. IHOP mops the floor with Denny's and then some. Yeah, not even close.
Bro, split decision breakfast at IHOP after late night drinking. You get up a little late. You're like, man, I'm an asshole. It's Sunday. I didn't do. Okay, let's go. I was supposed to clean the house today, but you know what? We're going to IHOP. You get that split decision breakfast. You get the bacon, the sausage. You get the eggs. You get the French toast. You get the pancakes. Are you going right now or not, folks? IHOP, please sponsor this podcast.
I'm with him, bro. I'm with Finch. I agree. IHOP's the move. TC, thank you for the dono. We appreciate you. Odds for this fight. Lipski is a +175 underdog with Casey O'Neill as a -205 favorite. Over 2.5 is -240. Probably the women's fights, as of late, definitely been going over. And Lipski to win it by a decision is +250 with a KO at +700. I mean, she could touch O'Neill, but it's not like it's a high chance of a KO. That's why it's at +700. But I do have Lipski as the dog.
With her legs, AJ. If she got a KO, I think it's with a head kick.
That'd be a nasty head kick. And you know what? It's a pay-per-view card, final card of the year. I hope that we see that.
That would be ridiculous. Look, man, I think I think this is a close fight.
I think it's an interesting one.
I don't predict the KO.
Okay, fair. I'm picking Lipski by a decision, just to be clear. And Finch, the coin told him Lipski for the win, the almighty coin. Let's go.
There it is. And it's not one you normally see, folks. Michael Hudon, I'm giving you another look at it. That is a Doge coin, folks. Come on, man. That is neat. Okay. You want actual cryptocurrency. Like when I gave this to kids for Christmas when the Dogecoin was really big. Was that last Christmas or the year before? When everybody was talking about Dogecoin, right? Before it crashed crazy. And the kids were asking, like, is this a real Dogecoin? I'm like, this is the real thing. You actually had, blow their minds. So there you go, folks. The Dogecoin is never wrong.
Dogecoin. And Michael, we appreciate you for the $4.99. Shout out Michael Hudon. Dropping the heat in the chat. I appreciate you, my guy. Listen, good fight here between the ladies. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight on it, we got Cody Garbrandt versus Brian Kelleher. I am going for Brian Kelleher to knock Cody Garbrandt out. And I know people might say, AJ, with these delusional calls sometimes. Okay, listen, hear me out for a second, Finch, before you run off stream over here. let me tell you something. Cody Garbrandt last time looked so gun shy against Trevin Jones. I haven't seen it. It's not the same Cody No Love. He has the fear of getting knocked out because he's been brutally KO'd. His game has gone downhill. He has deteriorated as a fighter. Now, Brian Kelleher has always been consistently an okay fighter. Cody Garbrandt at one point was very, very good. Even you might call him great at one point. Now he's dipped into the average par. Come on, Finch. Come on.
Might
He's taking a lot of damage.
Might call him great at one point.
At one point, when he beat Dominic Cruz, it looked like it couldn't get better than that.
He looked like the best fighter ever. I mean, that performance against Dominic Cruz was incredible. Absolutely incredible. AJ, I know at the time, if I would have asked you, is Cody Garbrandt great? You would have said absolutely. Absolutely, he was great at one point. Is this how far we've come? Have we come so far? Have we fallen so far from grace that Cody Garbrandt's going to get, did you say KO'd?
Hey, Henan Barrow lost to Brian Kelleher. I think he's
Brian
collecting ex-bantamweight champs. I'm telling you.
Holy shit. If AJ just Mystic Mac that and Brian Kelleher knocks out the 24-14 Brian Kelleher, 5'6", 37-year-old Brian Kelleher, who lost to Mario Bautista, Umar Nurmagomedov, no problem there, Ricky Simone, Cody Stamen, Montel Jackson, John Lineker, Marlon Chito Vera. If that guy is able to KO Cody Garbrandt, I hope Cody retires, man.
Those guys are good, though. All of them beat Cody No Love right now.
Montel Jackson?
I think Montel maybe too. Yeah. I think Montel could take him.
Mario Bautista?
Mario Bautista will give him hell with the wrestling right now.
Damn, AJ,
bro.
Bro. Okay, how about this? When I was at the UFC Performance Institute, I saw Cody in there working with everybody. He was getting rounds with Rob Font. He was getting rounds with Patchy Mix. He was getting rounds with who's the dude where Jeremy Kennedy in Bellator. He was getting rounds with a lot of the young studs. I do think he really wants it. He's not in here, training in his garage, just collecting a couple more checks. I think Cody Garbrandt's really trying to get in some big fights here, and this ain't one. So he needs to win this one emphatically. How about this? I'm taking no love by knockout. I'm on the other side of you, AJ, because I still think this dog has got some bite. And yes, he fell from grace, but not from heaven to hell. I do believe he's still got some game. Give me Cody No Love Garbrandt knockout.
Cody Garbrandt knockout for the Finch. While I'm on the Kelleher side, man. Listen, speaking of dogs, every dog has their day, Finch. Every dog has the day, bro. I'm putting them up for Kelleher's sake, man. I'm standing up for Kelleher, baby. Look at the odds here, too.
Yeah, he's live. I mean, the odds aren't even that wide, are they?
Minus 220 for Cody No Love, plus 185 Kelleher. Under 2.5, minus 120. I don't know, man. I went to Cody's Instagram, and you could say that I'm a conspiracy theorist at this point. And I'm looking at his face in his recent pick, and I said, that's not the killer Cody Garbrandt. He's not the same anymore. And I still believe he's putting in the work. Unfortunately, the game is fucking ruthless, and I think Kelleher is going to end up knocking him out.
Damn, man. Kelleher, let me see. 37. Where are we at, Cody? 32. Get the fuck out of here. I'm going with Cody Garbrandt knockout.
All right. Listen, I'm very excited for this fight. I am. I think that Kelleher is going to pull off like one of those shocking performances. Let me look at something real quick. Brian Kelleher has been knocked out just one time as a professional MMA fighter. It was a third-round knockout, and it was against John Lineker, who's an absolute powerhouse, right? Cody Garbrandt on the opposite side has been knocked out 4 of his 5 losses. And
by who?
Lone decision was Rob Font.
By who?
Good fighters.
Good
Listen,
fighters? Why aren't you giving credit? Why aren't you giving credit to my guy?
Car France, Pedro Munoz, TJ Dillashaw twice. Dillashaw ends
the best fighters in the world.
Listen, man, I'm telling you, Brian Kelleher just had the bad matchups on the come up. Mario Bautista, Umar Nurmagomedov, like he's still taking on good opposition. The only losses that he's faced in the past few years have been solid fighters. I'm telling you, man, I think he's flying under the radar. I think he's going to chin him.
And Cody Garbrandt's fought TJ Dillashaw, Pedro Munoz, Rafael Sunsao, who he knocked out, Rob Font, Kai Kara-France. I mean, these are like, he's fighting the best fighters in the world. So Brian Kelleher is not. I think he's getting knocked out, but we've beat this one to death. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm just having fun with you, brother. It's a fun fight. It's just insane that to hear Brian Kelleher KO over Cody Garbrandt. If you told me that a few years ago, I'd be like, what? What are you talking
I
about?
picked Trevin Jones over Cody No Love. I've been thinking he's finished for a minute.
Okay, so quit you hating, bro, because
maybe I am a hater. No, I like Cody No Love. I just don't think he's the same. And I like this comment though. Nasty but true. He says this pick is as bad as the Chris Gutierrez one. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Damn. Yo, I mean, a couple people seem to be agreeing with you. A couple people seem to be agreeing with me. We'll see what's up, guys. This is an interesting one. Yeah, it's definitely where is Cody at check, but I think he's going to do fine, man. He fought just this year against Trevin Jones too, so he should be fresh. There was a layoff after that Kai Kara-France knockout. And by the way, Kai Kara-France is great. Turns out Kai Kara-France is even better than we thought when he knocked out Cody Garbrandt. So, why you showing him no love? AJ, was he talking about you when he was talking about no love? Because that's what I'm hearing from you, buddy.
No love. No love for Garbrandt from me. Finch on Garbrandt. I'm on Kelleher. I'm excited for that fight. Let's keep running. Next fight on it, we got Irene Aldana versus Karol Rosa. I'm picking Irene Aldana. We're going to skip past this fight and keep I'm fucking around. We'll talk about it for a second. Okay.
That was dope. That was good, bro. You had me.
I'm not hyped for it. I'm not hyped for it. All right. It is what it is. Aldana should be able to outstrike a Karol Rosa. I think she wins. I'm picking her by a decision. Rosa's okay. I've been burned picking Rosa before when I believed in her a lot as a prospect. And I think that Aldana's hands will come on display here in this fight.
That was funny. That was pretty good. You had me there. Yeah, I've never heard you do that one before. So that joke hit really well. Look, Irene Aldana, AJ was picking over Amanda fucking Nunes, okay?
Hey, don't remind them. Listen, brother, I wasn't seeing right that day, man. All right?
My bad, bro. My bad. Hey, AJ's good at making picks. You guys can hate all you want. Trust me, if you're in the driver's seat here and you have to pick every fight, hindsight's always so interesting, right? Because there could be fights you're on the fence about. You watch it, one guy wins by knockout, and in hindsight, you're like, oh, yeah, I knew that was going to happen, but you fucking didn't, okay? Yeah. Host your own YouTube show and make all your picks, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You got to put your picks out before the fight. Chael Sonnen had this one right, Okay, yeah, Irene Aldana by kickboxing. I hope she bounces back nicely. I do want to see her on that Mexican Independence Day card next year for when Dana White does the Sphere. And so she needs a nice W to get up there on that main card. And, Rosa's an interesting matchup with her. I mean, Rosa's competent. Split decision win over Yana Santos in the last one. Lost to Norma Dumont before that. I see why AJ wasn't so excited about this one, but I'm hoping we see a good Irene Aldana comeback because she is a talented striker.
Hey, listen, we're going to find out what happens. I'm with you. We're on the same side. Odds for the fight. Aldana minus 220, Rosa plus 185. Would you lay it down and bet the chalk at minus 220 for Irene Aldana, Finch? Because I'm
I'd consider it. I would consider it because Irene Aldana, what are you going to hate on her because she lost to the greatest women's fighter of all time? Like, yeah, I think she should win this fight. You're going to have to stick around for the parlay, folks.
Let's go. Parlay time coming in a bit, guys. Keep your eyes locked in. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight, we got Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell in the featured prelim of the night in a short notice fight too. Josh Emmett was initially preparing for Giga Chikadze, and then Mike Finch ran into Giga, and I don't know, some things went sideways.
Giga, don't get lippy with me, Giga. Don't be running that mouth, Giga.
I might the purple belt, bro. That's it. That's funny as hell. Listen, nonetheless, though, I feel like Josh Emmett's got big power. And I recognize that his boxing is going to be better than Bryce Mitchell's. But something that Dan Ige, I think, has that's superior to Josh Emmett is that speed overall with strikes and footwork. Josh Emmett is more of like a pit bull and like a house of muscle. I do think that Bryce Mitchell's wrestling is a big factor. I'm going to go Mitchell, man. I'm going to say Mitchell can put the takedowns on him, put him on his back. And I think we got 3 rounds of Thug Nasty grappling.
I didn't come from no damn monkeys, man. You know, he's like, do you think we came from monkeys? Michael Bisping's like, yes. Blew his fucking mind. I like Flat Earth, man. I think Bryce Mitchell has a pathway here, but Emmett is a stocky striker, and he's going to be hard to take down. It's going to be hard to get underneath him. You know, I think maybe people are underrating Mitchell's striking a little bit now. I felt like I was kind of shitting on it early. And then, you know, the knockout against Topuria happened, and I feel like people really started being like, this guy can't strike. It's not that he can't strike. Like, he has some ability to spend a little time on the feet, but the key to him winning the fight is getting takedowns. He needs takedowns to win the fight. He could strike with Emmett a little bit just to put some stuff out there. Like Emmett and Shane Burgos just stood in front of each other for 15 minutes. Like, you know, he could stand in front of him for a couple minutes. Yes. But he eventually needs that takedown. And brother, it's going to be hard against Emmett. With that being said, Emmett's not the springest chicken, you know? I mean, what are we looking at? 38 years old? You know? So that's something to look at if you guys are going Bryce Mitchell. I'm not hating. I'm just saying that stylistically, this is a pretty hard matchup for Bryce Mitchell. I got to think the short, stocky Emmett is hard to take down. And I remember in the first fight of Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev, people were saying, why are you guys saying that it's hard to take down short guys? What do you mean it's hard to take down? I've never heard this before. You just invented this. Here's another case where the short, stocky guy who's got good hands is going to be hard to get underneath and double leg. You know, you really got to like clinch with them and trip them. You got to go other ways. You got to catch a kick or something. And I don't think he'll be throwing that many. So I think Josh Emmett's going to be very hard to take down physically and stylistically. And Bryce Mitchell's getting cracked up a little bit, you know. I could imagine Josh Emmett putting a couple big punches on him. Let's say Thug Nasty is tough enough to survive, especially since he's got a guard, he's got a jiu-jitsu game, and he'll probably weather the storm. So Josh Emmett by decision against Flat Earth King, the only human being who apparently is not 96% chimpanzee. This guy is full human, okay? Bryce Mitchell.
Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell is sitting at minus 235. The favorite. Josh Emmett plus 200, the underdog. Over 1.5 minus 260 in this fight. So you're going decision for Emmett. Mike Finch, that's at plus 500, whereas Mitchell by decision is only plus 125. The Mitchell betting side sucks. The Emmett betting side is where all the excitement's at, seeing he's a 2-1 underdog in this fight. But I am worried about the damage that Emmett's taken. I am worried about the wear and tear. He's had 4 hard-ass fights back-to-back, like taking some damage to the knee, even against Shane Burgos a few years ago. And I feel like he already had the title run. He fought for the interim belt, lost, and then lost to the number 1 contender thereafter, where even though Mitchell does have the one loss, Ilia Topuria, he's 15-1, and I think there's still upward potential from here. So I'm going Thug Nasty, brother.
Yeah, fair enough, AJ. Good luck, bro.
Thanks.
Good luck. Hey, man, he's an entertainer. Is it not fun watching Bryce Mitchell out there in some camo shorts? Looks like he just got done killing some local deer. I like Bryce Mitchell.
I do too, man. I think Thug Nasty's got a good personality. And nonetheless, the personality ain't winning him the fight. I think it's a hard one with Josh Emmett. And I think he's too big of a favorite as far as money line betting side, but I will pick him on a decision.
All right, fair enough. How many takedowns does he get, AJ? Tell the folks right now.
Gonna have to get at least 3.
You know? Yeah. And Emmett's dangerous, man. Emmett can crack, you know? Yeah. Emmett and Topuria was a pretty good fight. So yeah. I like Emmett because of the stylistic matchup. I like what you said, though. It is important to note, you know, Emmett just took some damage, and also probably some damage to his confidence. So at 38 or 39 or whatever, it's a fight.
It's a fight. Let's go. Let's keep running up. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Vicente Luque versus Ian Machado Garry. In the welterweight division, we got the undefeated Garry, who's been a trending topic throughout the MMA news circle for some weeks now. Yeah.
What's going on? There's something going on with Ian Garry? What are you talking about?
He's wagged. I don't know, the wag situation.
He got a dog? Wag? What are you talking about?
I can elaborate, if the people don't know. Ian Garry, it's a lot of flack he's getting because his wife wrote a book on seducing up-and-coming successful celebrities / athletes. And, she's a bit older than him, 14 years, his senior. And then also the Neil Magny situation where he called Neil Magny essentially a child beater, and now Neil Magny in court. And that is being used against him, unfortunately. So listen, even though Ian Garry, if you believe in karma, would probably have some bad karma heading into this fight, nonetheless, I believe in the justice of the fight game, and it's not Vicente Luque to KO him. It's going to be really up the ranks is where Ian Garry would run into trouble. His striking is very good, and I'll take into consideration the fact Luque has taken a fuckload of damage. You dig into Luque, remember the war with Mike Perry years ago? He took a ton of damage then. Lost to Jeff Neal. The guy has fought a who's who at this point, and Luque's very good, but he's going to get out kickboxed by Ian Garry. And I think Gary's live to knock him out. Could he win a decision? Yes, but I think Luque could be a bit hittable with punches. And I could see his lights getting shut off, so I'm going to go with Garry to win.
Man, yeah, okay, interesting. I feel like people are going to be inclined to pick against Ian Garry in this one. There's some haters out there, AJ. There are some people hating, all right? And if they're not hating, they really are, behind closed doors, even if, whoever it is, Chael Sonnen and Daniel Cormier, anybody who's talked about this behind closed doors, they are chuckling at Ian Machado Garry. All that matters is what happens in that cage. Go ahead.
So you said emphasis on that Machado, man.
On that Machado. You notice I did that? I'm glad you noticed that. Thank you. Thank you. All that matters is, does he outstrike Vicente Luque? And he probably does. If Vicente Luque had better hands, this could be different. But let us not forget that Bilal Muhammad outboxed Vicente Luque. Okay? And you're talking about Ian Garry, who to me looks like more of a pure striker, and Vicente Luque, not quite the bad matchup for him. I could imagine a bad matchup for him being like somebody who's going to put him on his back, somebody who's a little bit more dangerous. I think Vicente Luque will get his game relatively shut down by an Ian Garry. It just seems to be a nice stylistic matchup for Mr. Garry. So with that being said, I think he puts the drama aside. He said he's nervous to come to the United States because people might be mean to him. Well, I hope that he is not going to be in his head when he's in that cage, because when that cage door shuts, doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, Ian, all right? It just matters that you perform. And we'll see what he performs like under real pressure now that the spotlight will just shine that much brighter on him in this fight. So AJ, it's probably just good experience for him. It's not a ridiculous matchup. It seems very winnable to me. I like the stylistic one. Ian Garry's got better hands. Let it be said that Ian Garry does not have a lot of knockout power. And so I think that's why some people are fading him here. Not me. I think he's the better striker. I think he could potentially dominate Vicente Luque. Ian Garry, and he coasts to a decision. If not, a late TKO where he puts a lot of punches together.
The odds for the fight, Ian Garry is a minus 375 favorite, with Vicente Luque a plus 300 underdog in the spot here. Over 1.5 at minus 200, and the under 1.5 is plus 160. I think it's more likely to go over, but I don't like the 2-1 as opposed to a plus 160. Garry by KO straight plus 150, whereas Garry by decision is also at plus 150. I'm trying to think of some degenerate, something exciting for this, man.
Chad Cuba, Garry over 1.5 is much more appealing than any other bet in that fight. That's interesting, man. That's interesting because I could definitely see this thing going long. Not the, not two like incredible knockout artists, right? Especially with their hands. Mike Finch, dude on the right, deserves way more subs. Hell yeah. Go sub at my YouTube channel. Pick'em MMA might hedge Luque by submission. Damn, is he gonna take Ian Garry down? Is Vicente, if Vicente Luque is the guy who's taking Ian Garry down, then that means that there's a lot of others who are gonna do it. That's not what I'm seeing from Ian Garry.
It's not what Finch man's seeing. That's not what I'm seeing. I see Ian Garry. I see him winning, man. He's not gonna get Luque's not the guy to put him on his back and beat him up. I think that he's gonna be striking primarily. We're going Garry for the win. Both of us, as expected. He should get a victory here. This is a fight that's, to build him on his ascent up the rankings into potential title challenger status.
He needs this.
Yeah, this is the fight he needs. Luque's the right matchup.
Is he the guy or not? Come on.
I think he's good. I don't know about the guy as far as world champion, but he's definitely a good fighter. And I mean, he's, I think, doing well with expectations, right? He's at the rankings now, and he just beat Neil Magny up pretty bad. And I think he's going to beat up Luque pretty bad too. I would say he's already hit the expectation that I initially had. When I first saw him fight, I wasn't convinced so much that he was going to be a world champion, but he's actually doing better than I thought. I'm like, hey, he looks good.
Like if he was matched up with a Sean Brady, that's when I worry about submission. Yes. Vicente Luque seems like a matchup that's favorable to him. Ian Garry at 10, Vicente Luque at 9. This one makes sense. Ian Garry and Wonderboy Thompson. I like these types of matchups more than I like him against, let's say a Colby or a Gilbert Burns or obviously a Hamzat, but he's moved up. Put him against these strikers. He probably wins. Ian Garry. And you got to put a little confidence on his name, folks. Quit hating. Just look at how they fight. Don't look at how they do another F word.
Let's keep on running up. Next fight on the card, we got Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett.
Come on, AJ.
I have to pick Paddy.
I
love the fight. I love the fight, but it's the fact that I'm picking Paddy Pimblett to win when I don't feel like he's a top caliber guy. I think he's fast and athletic, and he has slick jiu-jitsu. He's tricky to deal with, but when I see that head coming straight and the chin exposed, I'm like, somebody with some hands on him is going to catch him. But Tony is not as fast as he used to be, and I think he throws a lot of wide and looping punches. And with the natural decline of his game with age at this point and the speed not being there, the grappling slowing down, Paddy Pimblett by submission seems live to me in this fight.
Which is crazy because, Tony Ferguson was just known as this tremendous, he was the best 10th planet black belt in MMA. Yeah. He was the representative. He's the nasty with the elbows. The whole El Cucuy game is just total finisher, exciting fighter to watch. The guy who might submit Khabib. And just like Cody Garbrandt, what a fall from grace. Now, unlike Cody Garbrandt, with Tony Ferguson, we're looking at a 39-year-old Tony. Okay. So at 39 years old against Paddy Pimblett, no, I think the matchmaking is similar to what they're doing with Ian Garry. They're bringing them along. They're watering this plant, this Paddy Pimblett plant. It just sprouts a golden hairdo out the top, right? And they just want to keep it growing. They're going to keep watering it twice a day, just like the directions said when they picked it up. So I think that Paddy Pimblett is in a spot here where he can out-muscle Tony Ferguson. It's like he came in as how heavy of a favorite against Jared Gordon. It was not close. He was pretty heavy against Jared Gordon. He was a minus 270 favorite. Bro, that did not look like a minus 270 favorite by the time those judges started reading those scorecards. Am I right? So, Paddy might get a little too much credit. I bet he's getting too much credit in this one. What I'm looking at is minus 360. I'm sure AJ is going to correct that for me in a second, but you got to think Paddy Pimblett dominates this fight. So, all love to Tony. He's got David Goggins as his strength conditioning coach, apparently. So he should definitely come in injured. And I do think Paddy Pimblett is going to be able to get key takedowns, key top control. And yeah, AJ, you're right. He should be looking for a finish. I mean, if he wants to make a statement here, he's got to try to finish the 39-year-old Tony Ferguson. Even a decision that he grinds out might be frowned upon on the fans. Are we going to see Paddy Pimblett turn heel now? I think it's possible.
If he turns heel, that'd be sick. Listen, I'm going for the side of Paddy too. Like, we're on him. I wish that Tony Ferguson could go out and just have one final bang and just rip Paddy open with elbows in the clinch and get a TKO. But I think that I'm in a pipe dream if I pick that. So I'm picking Paddy Pimblett as well. The odds are a bit closer, Mike. It's minus 286 for Paddy the Baddy. And then it's Tony Ferguson at plus 226 to win. A win by sub for Paddy Pimblett, it pays plus 250. I thought it'd be higher than that. I don't really like plus 250 for a plus money sub. I thought it'd be a little better.
The win streak that Tony Ferguson was on was ridiculous. I mean, Edson Barbosa, Lando Venata, Rafael Dos Anjos, Kevin Lee, Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone, Josh Thompson, Gleison Tebow. I mean, it was insane. The loss streak he's on, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush, Michael Chandler, Nate Diaz, Bobby Green, is also insane. What a freaking roller coaster of a career Tony Ferguson has had. He's just not. I mean, am I just? Can we call a spade here? Is this obvious? He's not the same guy. Paddy Pimblett all day.
Paddy Pimblett all day. We're going Paddy the Baddy to win here in the potential farewell fight for Tony Ferguson, but I don't know if that's true. We'll see.
An interesting one. I mean, you got the kind of underperforming future star who kind of went to a split decision with an average fighter. So you're like, oh, what do we do with him? Give him the tone. I mean, I respect the matchmaking. I do. I just think one of the outcomes of this matchmaking could be people like, fuck Paddy Pimblett. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of set up he's supposed to win. So it's a strange spot for him to be.
Yeah, I agree, man. Let's see what happens. Paddy the Baddy, nonetheless, the pick for Finch and I. Let's keep running and let's get to our featured bout. It's Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Shavkat missed his sister's wedding for training camp here. He's not losing to Wonderboy. This right here is the passing of the torch. Shavkat Rakhmonov is an undefeated monster who is on a tremendous rise here in the welterweight division. He's got a good pressure style, and I think that he's live to submit the nearly 41-year-old Wonderboy here. I think he's going to back him up. He's going to press him from the start, I think, because if you get caught up on the outside with Wonderboy, that's when he picks you apart, like Kevin Holland, who was willing to play his game. But Kevin Holland got on top of Wonderboy at one point, then chose to rise up to his feet. I think Shavkat Rakhmonov would have success going to the grappling, and I think he's live for the submission here. And he can also crack, too, with his hands. He's powerful. I could see him stunning Wonderboy as Wonderboy's near the cage and Shavkat coming with heavy shots.
I mean, we're just talking about a dude who's on fire in Shavkat Rakhmonov. The UFC is not doing Wonderboy any favors after he turned down that short notice, or I guess not short notice, but missed weight Michel Pereira. They were not happy. It does not seem that they liked that. And here it is, man. Rakhmonov is a problem. And I think Rakhmonov gets a highlight reel knockout here, AJ. I think he closes the distance on a Wonderboy. Wonderboy fights in the green zone. And so when you're breaking down the striking, the green zone is where neither of us can touch each other. I have to actually step in there to even reach you. And then I'm right back out here so I can control that distance. Well, as long as Rakhmonov is in that yellow zone or red zone where you're like in the phone booth, he'll dominate this fight. Wonderboy can only keep him in that green zone. If he's not in that green zone, if he's not at a distance, Rakhmonov's all over him. One thing I do like for Wonderboy is they are in the big cage. This is a pay-per-view card. So Wonder Boy can move left, move right, slide back. At least he does have that, which will probably extend this thing to like the third round. But by the time the third round comes, I can imagine Rakhmonov moving his head, banging some hooks and uppercuts, dropping Wonder Boy, finishing him with a TKO. I think Rakhmonov is a problem. I think he makes a statement in this fight, maybe after a lackluster first round, but I do think he makes a statement. And AJ hit another nail on the head. It could be the grappling. I could see that too. Obviously, Rakhmonov being the superior grappler. So you got to think this young kid is going to beat the veteran, the legend, Wonder Boy, and probably violently.
Minus 650 for Shavkat Rakhmonov, plus 475 for Wonder Boy here. Looking at the prop side of things for this fight to end by submission for Shavkat, it's plus 140 with the Shavkat KO at plus 275. So it seems like the sub line looks like it's more likely. Note that Wonder Boy has never been submitted before in professional mixed martial arts, but he hasn't fought a Shavkat, and he's also nearly 41. I think Shavkat is live for the sub. Method of victory that you're feeling, Finch?
I said knockout, buddy, because I think Rakhmonov's going to try to let his hands go, man. You know, it seems like when you close the distance on Wonder Boy, his responses are to stand really tall and just to try to frame out and get the hell out of there. In those moments, I can imagine Shavkat finding some shots on him, you know. It's a tuck your chin and throw looping shot style that Rakhmonov has, but he's pretty technical with it. A little Gaethje like, a little, you know, it's good. And he seems to have pretty heavy shots. So Wonder Boy at 40, is he going to take the shots well? He's a veteran, man. I like his style. When I spar people, I try to do somewhat of a Wonder Boy mimic. I really like that style on the outside. You know why it's nice? Is because he hits people and then he doesn't get hit in return. Isn't that great? Does everybody really want to do the Mexican style of boxing? Like catch all the shots on your forearms, keep marching people down, eat one to the forehead so you give two back. You know, then we're both bleeding. It's like when you're driving in traffic and somebody slams on the brakes, do you just rear end them because you have a bumper? Like, no, you hit the brakes. If it's going fast, you change lanes, right? Wonder Boy applies that to striking. He'll just slide right out of the way and he won't let you hit him. I like that response. I just think that as this fight wears on, he'll slow down and it'll come up to catch him. If Wonder Boy was in his prime, this is much more interesting. I'm concerned he's not.
I agree. At nearly 41, I think it's probably true that he isn't. And Shavkat's scary, undefeated 17-0 guy who's never won a fight by decision. It's all finishes for him. We're going Shavkat. I think he gets it done. Finish the call for both of us. I'm on sub, Finch on knockout, either alive.
Chad Cuba. Good, interesting one there. Shavkat would murder Khamzat. AJ, your take.
The thing is, with Khamzat at middleweight now, we'd have to see it play out. I'm not so sure that he would. I'm on the fence on that matchup. I think that Shavkat, he has to show us how he would do against a Wonder Boy. If right now I'm going Shavkat versus Khamzat and I'm not worried about weight cutting at all, let's say this is a fantasy land, I'll pick Khamzat to win. But maybe that changes after Saturday.
Khamzat Chimaev, I've been telling you guys for a while, is a one-round fighter. He's the type of guy who's going to smash. So in the first round, Khamzat fucks Rakhmonov up. Like Khamzat can come out there real aggressive. Hey, man, quick shots. Boom, double leg him. Rakhmonov is able to get going as the fight's going. So over 5 rounds, yeah, he could start maybe taking over. But in a 3-round fight, you know, I like Khamzat in a 3-round fight.
I think so too.
Interesting thought experiment, though.
Yeah, that is fun, man. I'm hoping that down the line we see them face off. We shall find out.
I like that matchup. I think that, you know, Khamzat probably stays up there, but I'm mad about that. I kind of wanted to, you know, the storybook. He wins the welterweight title. He moves up to middleweight. That would have been more fun. Damn it, Khamzat. Why'd you have to miss weight against Nate Diaz? They were giving you an opponent. You know, it's like the UFC's matchmaking is the best, but every now and then it's Khamzat versus Nate Diaz. It's Paddy Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson. You catch my drift? It's Rakhmonov versus Wonder Boy. It's the old veteran with the name who can give the rub to the young up and comer, sort of give back. You know, they talk about it in like fake wrestling, pro wrestling. Like you give them the rub, you give the person the spotlight, and yeah, it's just I think I think Rakhmonov's the up and coming star here. I think Hamzat's the up and coming star. They get taken care of. Only makes sense, folks. It's a business at the end of the day, and so that's why you got to favor these up and comers sometimes.
Co-main event of the evening, flyweight championship on the line. It's a rematch. It's Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. Pantoja beat him by submission in the second round last time, and what was a pretty chaotic fight. And when you have Brandon Royval on the opposite side of you, you have to be prepared for absolute chaos. So if I'm Pantoja, I'm going to want to secure control of my opponent as soon as possible. And he was successful doing it in the first fight. Not saying Royval hasn't gotten better, but the opposition that he has beaten doesn't tell me, okay, that's going to now give him a win over Pantoja in the rematch. I expect Pantoja to still have a clear control advantage, and I expect Pantoja to win it similarly to the last one. I'm going to pick him to win by submission, but on the side of, devil's advocate here, Royval's very dangerous with elbows, knees. He kind of reminds me of a Tasmanian devil. Like he comes out in a damn tornado. So you have to be cautious. Like if you're betting Pantoja, recognize that at any point he could walk into something crazy by Royval. Now, Pantoja, durable dude, though. Good chin on him. And I'm expecting him to win by sub.
Great breakdown, AJ.
Thank you.
Pantoja already beat him, and he seems better now. And generally when you win the world title, it does something for your confidence. But Brandon Royval, really shows what that Factory X style is capable of. They can come out and hit you with shit, man. Like Brandon Royval, talk about a freestyle fighter. He could spin at any time. There's always a danger with him. So Brandon Royval's in the fight. I respect Brandon Royval. The Oscar brothers train with him, so I got to be rooting for him. Those are my friends. But Pantoja just beat Brandon Moreno, albeit split decision. And he's got the world title, and he's already got the dub just 2 years ago. How much has really changed? They're probably a little bit better, both of them. Brandon Royval's super dangerous. I think it's a fun one, but I think Brandon Royval generally ends up on bottom. That'll be a problem for him. And I like the sparring partners Pantoja has. He's at one of the best gyms in the world. And, I think that this is Pantoja's moment. So I can imagine Pantoja getting this title defense. With that being said, I agree with you. Brandon Royval's live. I don't want to bet against Brandon Royval. I'm just going to have fun watching this one.
Pantoja's a minus 190 favorite with Royval, the challenger, at plus 160 as a dog. Under 2.5 is minus 145. I do think there's a chance that we're going short in this fight. Submission win for Pantoja sits at plus 155 with a Royval knockout of only plus 255. I'm picking Pantoja by sub. I see it. Control, back take, rear naked, similar to last time. I do think as the fight goes on and Pantoja starts figuring out the range to close the gap. And maybe he closes the gap once and then next thing you know, he strangles him. But I think he's going to do it consistently and he's going to control that chaos of Royval. So that's why I'm going Pantoja.
Yeah, I like it, man. I see what you're saying. Chaos, Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great references because that's what it just comes out of the ether. He could just all of it. You feel like, okay, I'm starting to get the timing on this jab. And then all of a sudden he jumps and spins like, what the, so that's his style. His style is this unpredictability. And so when you're doing a job like ours, that just makes everything more interesting. But over time, he can slow him down. I am a believer in the bottom game, though, of Brandon Royval. I believe in his submission game. I've asked Motaz specifically about him in the gym. And, the guy wins by submission. The guy is able to win out of any position. He's always dangerous. He's always creative. Those things pay dividends sometimes when the stakes are high, right? So I like to see a freestyle fighter like that. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to watch it.
I'm excited as hell to see it. We're going to find out who gets it. Finch and I both, though, picking the side of Alexandre Pantoja. And I do pick the win by submission. And I'm thinking it's live in the second or third round. And I want to just read off a little degenerate prop here. Plus 800 for second round sub for Pantoja and plus 1,200 for third round Pantoja sub. Just for, I know people like those degen props. And if the straight props ain't DGen enough. We're round propping something. Main event time, Mike Finch.
Let's do it.
I can't wait to talk about it. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you smash that like button. If this is your first time on the channel, subscribe. I got daily content on the MMA Experts channel. And every Monday, me and Mike chop it up. Looking forward to the upcoming UFC fights. And we're still going to have content during the off weeks, guys. We'll try to get some interviews back. We'll have some Q&As with the people. And, you know, a lot of the people in the chat that feel like, damn, you guys don't answer all my questions. Well, in the Q&A weeks, we'll get to it. You guys can bring us the heat. Main event of the evening, though, it's Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington in an awesome welterweight championship fight where I sat on it for a while. And initially, when this fight was first announced, I was on the side of, Colby Covington could give him that pressure wrestling difficulty. I could see him backing Leon up and taking a decision. But I can't pick against the champion who has 2 wins over Usman, the boogeyman, to Colby Covington. I feel like the striking is definitely better with Leon Edwards, but it's not only the striking, it's the slight size advantage that he has over Colby Covington. And then I'm also taking into consideration with this fight, we have to look at Colby's side. He beat Jorge Masvidal last time out. He was dropped in that fight, and he was pressing Masvidal a lot, and he did get on top of Masvidal a bit. For me, it's not so much can he get Leon down. It's the fact, can I see him keeping him down for significant amounts of time and doing significant damage? I feel like the answer to that, I lean no. And when I'm talking about striking, I think Leon's out kickboxing him. I'm going Leon Edwards and still welterweight champion. I think the belt's staying in England, bro.
Leon Edwards is definitely better than he's ever been. So you have to give him that respect. I mean, Leon Edwards is on top of his game. He's going to have a champion's mindset. He's going to be hard to beat. And Colby does have a little bit of dust on him. I mean, besides getting a right hook from Jorge Masvidal outside of a restaurant, he hasn't fought in a minute. So, you know, it does take a little bit of the, you know, but I'm still picking the bad guy. I think Colby Covington can box a lot better than this fucking striker across from Leon Edwards. Boxing is overrated. He shoots well to the body. He shoots well to the legs, but those kicks could get caught. I think by him throwing those leg kicks, who out leg kicks Colby Covington? I think he catches those and shoots. I think Colby's cardio makes a big difference here, because Usman can kind of start slowing down a little bit in his older age. That definitely started mattering, right? As swear with Leon Rocky Edwards, his cardio is good. Colby Covington's cardio is good. If we're looking at a prime Colby, I think he could push a pace. He could use his hands to work inside. He could try to work takedowns. I think this thing is close. It's probably down to the wire. Leon Edwards is going to try to set up some big kicks. He needs some to the body. He needs some to the head. That's for sure going to be a part of this recipe. But he has to establish something with his hands. If Leon Edwards cannot keep Colby Covington away with a jab and keep him on the outside, it's going to be a big problem. If we see the Colby Covington who's kind of happy to stand at range before he shoots, there could be some issues here. I think Colby's smart enough to get on the gas pedal. If Colby's car is in drive, if he's moving forward, moving that head off the center line, ripping and throwing a high output like he normally does, it's something that I don't think Leon Edwards has seen. AJ, when has he seen somebody with the cardio to go 5, somebody who moves his head when he boxes inside, and somebody who could wrestle his ass off and shoot over and over again? If Colby Covington is vintage Colby, I think he takes the title.
Vintage Colby taking the belt. Mike Finch on the main event underdog. I love to see it, though, Finch. You know what I also love to see? Max Blanco dropping a dono. He says, dono time. Let's get that parlay. Max, the parlay segment is coming up. We got locks up next and then parlays. Stay tuned. We appreciate your 5, my friend.
Thank you.
Listen, Finch, I understand why you're on that side, and I see where you're coming from, but I just don't personally feel it, man. I think that Leon's gonna maintain distance. I think when the gap is closed on him, I feel like he's gonna make Colby Covington pay when he fails takedown attempts. And that's gonna be a huge factor in the fight. Can he keep Colby off of him? He definitely has to earn Colby's respect with his striking power specifically. He needs to throw some damaging shots to the side of Colby Covington. I'll expect him to. We're on the opposite ends in this one, but the odds for the fight have Colby Covington as an underdog, plus 139. Leon Edwards, a minus 159 favorite. And the over 4.5 is like super expected here at minus 215. I am predicting it to go 5. Edwards by decision is plus 145. Covington by decision plus 210. Win for a hell of a main event. Betting wise, you'd have to lean money line. I think Leon does win it over the 5. I know Finch would say, hey, I'm on money line. I'd rather go Colby Covington.
Yeah, come on. You think I'm going to pick I do think this thing goes long. Yeah, but I assume the bookies have also figured that out.
Yeah, the over 4.5 is minus 215.
Okay, so come on, folks. It's no news to y'all. Cinder High says Usman ? Cozy Suicide says, bro described Usman. No, Usman does not move forward while moving his head. Usman uses a long jab, stands kind of upright, and Usman, as I said, in his later age, when Leon fought him, actually did start to fatigue a little bit, started to kind of stall in positions where normally he would stall because he was up, right? Like normally when Usman's stalling, it's because he's like got an over-under on Jorge Masvidal and he's just going to hold him, or he's got somebody in a decent spot. He's going to hold him there. He started stalling like I'm underneath and mount and I'm not even going to buck my hips, so it got bad. Colby Covington moves forward better, throws a lot more punches than Kamaru Usman, and is just a cardio freaking machine. So if those things are true, he wins this fight. If they're not true, if he comes out there and he looks a little rusty, if he comes out there and it's like, oh man, he's a little hesitant tonight, yeah, Leon could pick him apart. Leon's on point. But I know you hardcore fans saw Leon Edwards' brother get whooped up by ATT's outstanding champion, Johnny Diamond Hands Eblen. And Johnny Eblen throws some looping shots. He's got good cardio. He can push a pace for 5 rounds. He's a wrestler. It's kind of, there's a way to beat these guys who aren't phenomenal boxers from that gym. And I think Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington is a different reincarnation of that. It's like, does Leon have the power to keep Colby off of him? I don't think Colby respects his hands enough for that, man. So Colby should kick the door down, come in there, throw a lot of punches. Really, really high output, a Rafael dos Anjos level, shoot, pressure type fight. Yeah, I think he can get it.
Mike Finch on Colby Covington. I love to see it, Mike. We're on opposite ends of the main event, which I think is a great way to cap off the 2023 actual fight card breakdowns, because this is the final card of the year. But like I said before we broke this down, still content coming. Don't worry about it. I'll be doing news, live streams. I got early picks for the first card back dropping this coming Sunday. But we're not done on the show just yet. It's time for the lock of the night. UFC 296 lock of the night time. Mike Finch, last week, I got it going. I called Tim Elliott, and it came out beautifully. I was very happy. Now, you're looking to come bring vengeance because technically I think the decision could have went his way. Iron Turtle was in there in a bit of a toss-up fight where he did more damage, but there was more control by Muniz. This week, Mike, I'm very curious. Where's your head at?
I woke up this morning and I thought, yeah, Tagir Ulanbekov, that makes sense. He's slight favorite, but he's going to beat Cody Durden. I'll go out there and tell the folks that. But you know what? After I see how many people are picking Leon Edwards, I'm going Colby Covington for my lock of the night. I think you guys are in for a red, white, and blue ass whooping in Las Vegas. I think Colby Covington does perform. I think he stays on the gas pedal. I think he gets these takedowns. If you notice, when Kamaru Usman's on shots, he just holds there and stalls, and all Leon Edwards had to do was fight the hands and get him off of his hips and get space back to the cage. That's not what Colby does. Colby is a chain wrestler. He'll go from shooting to a single leg to a back take. He'll drag you onto the ground and beat your ass. And I'm not that concerned on the feet. There is a risk, of course. Leon Edwards, decent hands, really good kicker. But how is he going to do that when he's getting his door kicked down? All right. The big bad wolf is coming. And I think he lives in Florida. I've got Colby Covington whooping some ass. Give me 4 out of 5 rounds, hitting takedowns, using his cardio, high output, and getting that belt.
Mike Finch, Colby Covington lock. I love to see it. And I also love Cannabis Connoisseurs dropping us a $4.99. We appreciate you, Dono. Listen,
Thank you
Mike.
very much. Tell us what cannabis connoisseur. Let us know.
Listen. Cannabis Connoisseur, thank you. I am going for the lock that Finch spoke about being his initial lean. I think that right there is the money call. I'm on Tagir Ulanbekov as the lock of the week. When in doubt, OV it out. And that's what I said to myself. I'm like, all right, we're looking through what I think the lock. We got Dagestan. We got OV. We got Durden, who could get locked up in a submission. Give me Tagir Ulanbekov to win by sub. Lock of the week for me is going to be Tagir Ulanbekov. Not as juicy as the Finch man's underdog, which I love that you're going that underdog, Mike. I think it's an awesome move, and I'm excited for you. But I'm on the side of Tagir this week. Lock section, bringing the heat to cap off 2023, and it's time for some parlays. So let's jump into parlay time.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and let's bet on some fist fights. Parlay time. Mike Finch, the parlay king in the house. How you feeling this week, my guy?
All right, folks, we're digging out a very special parlay to cap off the year. All right. And this parlay is called Fade the Oldies. All right. If they're over 38, they ain't on this side. We want to bet against them. Okay. We're going against Grandpa Kakui. All right. We're going to go Patty Pimblett. We're going against Grandpa Wonder Boy. We're going with Ian Garry. And honestly, Brian Kelleher could make the list. Don't make me do it. Can you always help me with these, okay? Patty Pimblett and Ian and sorry, I almost said Ian Garry. Patty Pimblett. How am I losing it? He's fighting El Kakui. And then my second parlay I completely lost. Hit me. Jesus Christ. Shavkat Rakhmonov is taking on Wonder Boy. Wow. It was gone. It was completely gone. Shavkat Rakhmonov and Patty Pimblett, obvious favorites. How fat is that going to be if you put two together?
Minus 176 for that one.
I'm going for it. I gave you guys an underdog for the lock of the night. We're going to fade the oldies for the parlay. That's my parlay. Give me the young guns.
The young gun parlay from Mike Finch. I think he's on to something good. I do think that you have your head on right, picking the side of Patty the Batty, picking the side of Shavkat. For me, I'm starting it off. I got the side of Dustin Jacoby. I'm also going to throw Shavkat Rakhmonov in my lineup, and I'm going to juice it up a little more. I'm going to put Ian Garry on it, and I'm going to sit at plus 115 for Jacoby, Rakhmonov, and Ian Garry this week.
I like that, dude. Yeah, I think Ian Garry's a good one. Crazy how many people are starting to think Ian Garry's going to lose this one. We'll see, folks. I don't know. I think AJ's onto something there, man. Yeah, there's just a couple matchups on this card that seem pretty obvious, and I think you know, in hindsight, Ian Garry's going to be one of them. Very obvious to me would be to fade Tony, and to think that Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to keep ascending up, especially against a 40-year-old, very talented striker and Wonder Boy. So, yeah, let's pick the kids, dude.
I like it, bro. I like where your head is at, Finch. I think we're on to something good for 296. Man, it's been a hell of a year breaking them down with you, man. And I'm disappointed we don't have UFC for a few weeks after this card.
Is it a few? It's a few?
What is it? It's a month, right?
Oh, wow. How
4
dare
weeks
they
off,
do that
dude.
to us? Let me look this up. So you got UFC 296. Yeah, it's going to be a minute.
4 weeks without UFC. I don't know what I'm doing with myself.
Oh, yeah, I guess we got to like
News.
We're gonna start talking about the political race. You guys want to start talking about Trump versus DeSantis? Is that what we want to turn the show into? What do you guys want us to talk about? Is BKFC gonna fill the void?
Nope.
We have some boxing matches.
We got boxing. We got Riyadh season next week on that Saturday afterwards. And I'm definitely going to do a breakdown for those fights. We can discuss that on next week's show. And then the following week, we're going to have to maybe talk about Ryzen or something like that. This fight's in Japan on the 31st, but it's not big for the Americans. Can we get a Japanese translator on? And, maybe we'll get 30 people from Japan getting picks from us.
I just started working with a guy who speaks fluent Mandarin. I'm going to have to look for the Japanese. I'm going to have to find the Japanese. Santa Finch, yes. EQ, yes, it is. Paku says last money line this year, and he's crying. Paku,
This is not the last money line.
We appreciate that type of love. We're going to keep coming in. Maybe we got to get some guests, okay? Who do you want to see us interview? Dr. Jordan Peterson? Who do you want us to talk to, folks? Neil deGrasse Tyson? Who should we have on this podcast? Let us know in the comments, please.
We got to get some people. We get as many guests as we can at this point. We're going to go old school. Maybe you and Dalton Rosta can have a debate about eating meat every day or something like that. I'm down to bring him on. That'd be pretty sick for the off week.
That sounds good. Dalton Rosta, catching up with him, that would be good. Maybe we get some fighters on. That's true. Yeah. We'll get Ian McCall on to talk about mushrooms or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll get Chikadze on to talk about what that felt like. Man. Merab invited me to go train at Syndicate. Do I have to should I get on the road? Do we need Merab on?
Merab would be a 10 out of 10. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Merab on the show? That'd be fucking crazy. People would go nuts.
All right. We'll see. Maybe I gotta get Merab on. So we'll see what's up, guys. In the meantime, get your family some nice Christmas gifts. Take care of everybody. I'm in California. I'm always staying warm, but stay warm out there. Be good. And we'll keep doing some money lines, folks. We ain't going nowhere.
We're not going nowhere. We're just gonna, evolve for the off weeks. But I'll still be dropping daily content too. So make sure you guys are subscribed. I'm probably going to become like a stream addict during the off week. It might just be live streams galore from me, like maybe even every day. And then I'm planning on dropping all the news that I can and throw opinion videos out like an absolute menace to society. So keep your eyes peeled, man. Post notifications, not just on personalized, put them on all. Daily content coming, off weeks content coming. Doesn't stop at the MMA Experts channel. Mike, it's been a blast breaking down all the cards with you this year. I'll see you on Monday this coming week to discuss this card, the after effects. We'll go in more depth with the recap, deep recap. And then we'll talk some boxing because there is a really good card. Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, Otto Wallin. Also, Dimitri Bivol on the card, up and coming guys on that card. It's a pretty nice boxing match in Saudi. So
I like it, man. Yeah, it reminds me of like end of the year card. I always feel like, was it Overeem or who would have like Pride or Dream?
Dynamite,
you know what I mean? They'd always have some like dope New Year's Eve card. So I guess boxing's gonna have to fill the void this year. Excited for that though. We'll definitely go deep into these fights and break these things down. That's one cool thing about Monday Money Line. It's just 48 hours after it went down, so it's still pretty fresh, and we'll dig into it deep. Love you guys. Thank you for always tuning in to Moneyline. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you guys. Much love. See you guys in the next one. Peace.